And tonight, after poking the bear, this bear roared with an unprecedented turnout in a special election with an extraordinary result. None of us, however, are naive. This is a pattern. This is a practice. Donald Trump's efforts to rig the midterm election continue.
Yeah, Donald Trump absolutely poked the bear, and last night we saw Democrats just come in and do a complete and total wipeout, and it was so good to see. I had so many people reach out to me and say, Brando, I really needed this moment. I really feel good about this moment. And I say to that, keep that energy and keep moving this conversation forward and keep that energy going into the midterms. We can't be naive. We can't take our eye off the ball. We can't say, oh boy, we did it and get complacent and rest on our laurels. We have got to keep moving. But last night was huge. We just sat there and just kept seeing right out of the gate in Virginia, just completely flipping. We saw Abigail Spanberger become the first woman governor of Virginia. We saw, all of Virginia flip, which was a shock. And, of course, now, today, Maga is trying to figure out how to put the toothpaste back in the tube, and they're trying to figure out how to explain it all away. And I think last night was a reflection of where we're headed. I mean, when you have 7 million people show up on their day off to protest the president and say, we are tired of this bullshit, what do you really expect to happen during an election after we saw that many people on the streets? But I want to show you another clip here from Newsom, and then we're going to get into having fun watching Mike Johnson try to squirm, because that's all I was thinking of last night was, boy, I can't wait to see Mike Johnson try to squirm his way out of this one. But we have got to stay focused. The fight is nowhere near being over, because Donald Trump will say that this was rigged, and he will dig in his heels, and he'll fight even harder. And take a look at what Newsom had to say here.
He said this election was rigged, and he's moving to look for criminal prosecution and investigations at the Department of Justice. He is not screwing around. So tonight, I'm proud, but I'm very mindful and sober of the moment we are living in. Donald Trump does not believe in fair and free elections. Period and full stop. This is not complicated. And it's self-evident to anyone paying attention. He said,
I say that every day. I say, you know what, to anyone paying attention, I don't know how you can see this. It's right in front of you. Donald Trump does not believe in free and fair elections. He never did. And even if we wanted to sit and talk about the gerrymandering for the rest of the day, we could easily just go back to January 6th and roll that footage and say, hey, look, right here is proof. Here's Exhibit A that he doesn't believe in the will of the people, and he wants to punish anyone who disagrees with him or votes against him. And I do believe, not really a person that likes to make a lot of predictions, but I do believe that you will see them try to punish the people of New York City and the people of California. Heaven forbid there be another natural disaster. They're going to try to withhold aid and do everything they can to punish the people, because they do not believe in the will of the American people. And when they lose, they do not believe in ever going back to the drawing board and ever reflecting on their mistakes. And I think that's a good thing. Let them keep doing that. Let them keep making their mistake. Because what we did when Kamala Harris lost in 2024, yeah, we were all devastated. This time last year, we were everyone completely devastated. But I said, we got to get back up. We got to shake the dust off. We got to get back in the fight. And I never will forget that moment either, because I was sitting here live on the channel. I seen things wasn't going our way. I messaged Ben Marcellus at one point and said, how do you think this is going to pan out? Is there hope for us later? Could we wake up tomorrow morning to some different news? And he said, basically, I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but in other words, it's like it's the bottom of the ninth and we're down and we're not coming back. And I was like, oh shit. So I logged off and I messaged him back and I said, I may need some time tomorrow before I can get back in the saddle doing this, because I can't wrap my mind around it just yet. And the minute I woke up and the minute I looked around my room and realized that Donald Trump was our president again, I immediately messaged him and said, never mind on what I said last night, I'm ready to get back in the saddle. Because that's what people like us do. We go back to the drawing board. And we did that. We went back to the drawing board. We saw the mistakes that were made, and we've been working to correct them. And now we have got this energy underneath us that we have got to keep moving. But don't worry. MAGA will never do that. Anytime they lose, even though they said that last night was going to be a big win for Republicans because the shutdown is all the Democrats' fault and people are so mad at Democrats they will show up and they'll vote those Democrats out. It didn't happen. It was such a blowout that even JD's brother Corey Bowman completely got dog-walked in Cincinnati, Ohio for mayor. So what does Mike Johnson do? Instead of, saying, hey, dang, we got owned, maybe we should go back to the drawing board, he just says, oh, it's really not that big a deal. It was just blue states.
There's no surprises. What happened last night was blue states and blue cities voted blue. We all saw that coming. And no one should read too much into last night's election results. Off-year elections are not indicative of what's to come. That's what history teaches us. By the way, it's worthy of note that Zoran Mandami himself only received a little over 1 million votes, 1,036,000 votes. There are 8.3 million residents in New York City. 8.5 million actually is the number, I think. So about 12% of the city voted to turn their city over to the communists. We'll see how that works out.
Okay, well, two can play that game. There's 340 million people in the United States. 77 million voted for Donald Trump. That means only 22% of the American people voted for this radical, right-wing, racist regime that we now have in power. But I love how he said, we saw this coming. We knew it was going to happen. No, they didn't. No, Fox News was sitting there telling their viewers it was going to be a cakewalk. They had it in the bag. They really thought that, and then they're having to eat a big plate of crow today, and the best they can do is say that, well, that was just blue states voting for blue people, so that's all that was, and hey, the outcome of this, it doesn't reflect anything we've did. Yeah, he actually said that out loud.
A communist. Good luck with that. I don't think the loss last night was any reflection about Republicans at all. I think people are frustrated and angry, as we are. I am. The president is. And we express that different ways. But look, we look forward. We're looking forward to a great election running on our record. And we're gonna get all of our incumbents reelected, and we're going to add to the number here. So that's the answer.
He actually thinks they have a record to run on. He is absolutely, well, actually, I don't think he's that delusional. I think he just realizes that if he says it enough, there will be people delusional enough to think that suddenly, miraculously, their grocery bill is lower, and it's not, but they will sit there and try to find a way every time to spin it. It's truly amazing to sit and watch these people, because I remember, again, I'm going back to the election of last year, and I remember the next day I was paying close attention to what people on our side were saying, and we were going back to the drawing board, and we were trying to figure out how to get back in the game, and we weren't saying, well, this ain't no reflection on us. I mean, we didn't do nothing wrong. No, it absolutely was a reflection on Donald Trump. You had 7 million people protesting him because they're sick of his shit, and people showed up last night to vote. Now, again, we do have to keep that energy. We can't just go, well, that was a big win, so we've got this in a bag, we'll make it next time. No, we have to keep that energy, keep protesting, keep speaking out, keep getting out in front of this thing, because Mike Johnson does realize one thing. He realizes that if they lose the House, they're screwed. And this was my favorite clip of watching him squirm, realizing that, you know what, if the Democrats get this away from us, Donald Trump's presidency is absolutely in the tank.
I told him this morning what we've talked about many times and what I've said here before. The president is on the ballot in 2026. President Trump is on the ballot next fall. Because if we lose the majority, if the Republicans, the common sense people here who are doing the job for the American people, if we lose the majority in the House, and this radical element of the Democrat Party were able to take over, we've already seen that movie. They will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years, he'll have only 2, because they will move to impeach him probably on the first day of the new Congress in January 2027, and they will try to systematically unwind all the important reforms that we've done for the American people, to lower costs, to have a better quality of living, on health care, to increase access and quality of care. We are the party that is doing that, and the president needs 4 years to complete his agenda, not just 2. So he is in a very real sense on the ballot. He's fiercely committed to us winning. He is going to help. He's offered to do rallies and the town halls and all the things. He's sent out a huge round of endorsements of incumbents, Republican incumbents, just over the last few days. He is very much engaged, very dialed in, and he understands the stakes. President Trump is on the ballot in 2026, and we're looking forward to that contest.
And whether they want to admit it or not, he was on the ballot last night. That's the thing that they don't want to say out loud. but he was. The people that showed up because they have seen that Republicans have zero solutions to any of the problems. The only thing Republicans can give them is culture wars, and we will keep driving that point home. But how can he stand there with a straight face and say they're the party that's been worrying about lowering the cost because the costs aren't lower? How can he say that they're the party of healthcare when they've not done anything they've not had a health care plan? It's never happened. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene says Mike Johnson can't tell her what the health plan is because they don't have one. They have never had an alternative. And how can he talk about the quality of life when it's not gotten better for so many people? The only people whose quality of life has improved since Donald Trump took back over is the oligarchs, is the elitists, is all of the billionaire bros who gets to sit there with him at these great Gatsby parties at Mar-a-Lago, a place that Trump supporters will never be allowed to see the inside of. And he's building a ballroom, which Caroline Leavitt says is their main priority, and I have yet to meet him. I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I find someone here in Appalachia who says to me, Brando, the main priority for me and my family is Trump getting that ballroom. The day that I see that, I will take a selfie with that person and let you know all about it. But it ain't going to happen because they can't say that. The best they can do is, Obama built a basketball court. That's the only comeback they have for that because they know it's wrong. They know they've been screwed. They know they've been played. More and more people are waking up, and they have to keep that energy as we head on in to the midterms. We have to, again, here we go. I hate it when I end up pulling a Trump quote, but we do have to make it too big to rig. We do have to make the voices so loud and such a resounding victory that there's no way in hell that they can deny it. Because trust me, like Gavin Newsom said, they're going to try. They're going to try their damnedest to strip it away. They're going to try their damnedest to rig the game in advance so they can win. But we're not going to let them have their scripted WWE match. We're going to get them in the octagon, and we're going to say, this. You're in for a real fight now. You're in for the real deal here. You're not going to be able to write the script the way that you want it to go. You're going to have to actually provide real results. And when I say that, I'm not referring to violence, by the way, for somebody, wait a minute, he said he wanted to get us in an octagon. It's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying we have got to fight fire with fire. We got to take the fight to them. We can't back down. We got to keep that energy as we move forward. Yes, last night felt good, but Donald Trump is going to retaliate. His criminal regime is going to retaliate. And within just a few days, we're going to be right back. Before this day's over, we're going to be right back going, oh, shit, they're doing that next? So here's the only silver lining I can see to all this madness. They don't know how to reflect. They don't know how to go back to the drawing board. They don't know how to get back in a game when they lose. All they know how to do is double down on their shit. And the harder they double down on their shit, the more people will show up at the polls at the midterms. So let's be happy about last night. Let's keep that energy. Let's move forward. Let's take the midterms. Let's vote these Trump bootlicking fucks out, okay? Let's vote all the bootlickers out so we can get people in there who will actually go to work for everybody and not just a few.